Hello guys, welcome back to our Anime Explainer. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. China year 2065, November 12th, the second D1 grade universe ship arrived on Earth. Space outside Earth. D rest in armor, the bald DI fan stood in space, watching the dark purple disc-shaped universe ship approaching. Sir, how are you? We are from the Portally family from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. From the ship flew out 12 star level humans, of which 10 were star level 9s and 2 were star level 3 and 5. The star level 5 was a tall and sturdy youth. Portally family, one of the 16 big families of the Black Dragon Mountain family, Portally family. HPMH. Right now Earth falls under the protection of 3-Axe Mountain, forbidding any visitors. DI fan's voice resonated via spirit reading energy to the 12 of them, 3-Axe Mountain. The tall and sturdy youth's expression changed. 3-Axe Mountain was one of the 4 large organizations. Even the 2 sacred lands had to be courteous to them. If you barge into Earth, don't blame me for being disrespectful. DI fan roared loudly, after which he turned and flew back immediately. And in space, the 12 exchanged glances. Lord, what do we do? What can we do? The tall and sturdy youth grit his teeth and ordered. They sent out only one person, and he's a universe level 9. Do we go in and commit suicide? The universe ship could only leave dejected. The same method was used on the C8 grade universe ship 6 days later, which was also scared away by DI fan. After all, these 2 ships were scout teams from 2 different families. Who would dare mess with a universe level 9? After scaring away those 2 ships, Luo Feng's life became incredibly peaceful. However, he was awaiting that crucial date, December 16th. Kia year 2065 December 16th, was the triennial Ganwu auction date. Virtual universe, Black Dragon Mountain 9-star bay. Within the tea room, Luo Feng sat in a chair, lifting a glass cup filled with an amber-colored tea. Tomorrow is the Ganwu auction. The lowest requirement for the auction is a 3-star client. Luo Feng gently sniffed the tea. However, my account already has less than 10 mixed elements, because of the recent expenses, which is lower than the requirement to become a 3-star client. Is the invitation sent to me by the Ganwu auction still valid? Luo Feng, your thinking is wrong. Your account reached 11 trillion universe dollars before, 11 mixed elements, thus becoming a 3-star client. Right now you've used up quite a bit. Just because you have less money now, you think your account will get degraded from being a 3-star client. For several wealthy owners, their assets and capital get cycled very regularly. One day they may have 200 mixed elements, becoming a 3-star client, and another they might use everything until they only have 1 mixed element left. The following day, others might transfer 300 mixed elements in. Will these large wealthy people change constantly from 3-star clients to 2 stars? Luo Feng was stunned. Usage is normal. Like your teacher, for the Yunmo planet ship back then, he had almost used up everything. And sometimes just by selling a few treasures, the amount in his account would fly again. Sometimes empty, sometimes full. Barbata laughed. The bank won't easily degrade an account. Only if your account has stayed short of funds for a long period of time will they degrade it. Barbata said, the higher the level of account, this low period will be longer. Like a 5-star client, even if the money inside has been emptied, within 100 million years, their grade will not be dropped. Luo Feng laughed and nodded. That made sense. Sipping his tea, Luo Feng was looking forward to the auction. The triennial Ganwu auction would gather countless sector lords, even undying from all of the Ganwu universe country, and the lowest requirement was a 3-star client. Various items that would otherwise be hard or impossible to purchase, including saint-level items, would appear there. After purchasing the nutrition cabin, the D5 grade laser, treasures required for the deity of the world training and usage of about 5 mixed elements, also giving two mixed elements to my brother Luo Hua to invest. Right now, I only have about 4 trillion universe dollars left. Luo Feng thought, I wonder if I can actually afford anything tomorrow. I'll return and ask my brother to see how his investments have been doing these 2 years. Luo Feng thought. Black Dragon Mountain Island, 9-star bay. Besides Luo Feng's villa, there was a wooden villa. Luo Feng followed the staircases along to this 3-level villa, and its glass door was shut, creak. Luo Feng pushed open the door and entered. This was a room with at least 100 square feet. In it were several computer desks, and on every desk there was a laptop. Before each laptop was a person typing away on the virtual keyboards, looking for information. There were a total of 21 workers in that room. In the seat closest to the back, at the largest desk, was a youth who looked very similar to Luo Feng. The only difference was that he was skinnier, big brother. Luo Hua yelled out shocked, "It's quite bustling in here." Luo Feng smiled as he surveyed the workroom. "Mr. Luo, how do you do, Mr. Luo?" The people within quickly got up and down bowing. These group of workers were all Luo Hua's partners and fellow investors. As he was accustomed to their work, he had brought them into the virtual universe. Even though he had AIS to assist him, there were still differences between AIS and humans. "Big brother, why have you come here? Come, let's go over there to chat." Hold on. Luo Hua swiftly returned to the computer, entering a few commands before running over. "Let's go." Beside the workroom was a tea room. Luo Feng and Luo Hua sat down. "Big brother coming over to visit while I'm working is a rare sight." Luo Hua laughed. "It's like this." Luo Feng smiled. "Tomorrow, there's a triennial Ganwu auction." Ganwu auction. Luo Hua seemed stunned after hearing, following which he revealed glee and excitement, saying, "Is it the legendary highest-level auction in the Ganwu universe country?" During a conversation I had with investors before, I heard them mention it. I heard the requirement for the auction is extremely high. The lowest requirement is a 3-star client. Luo Feng nodded. "Damn." Luo Hua stared wide-eyed. 3-star client. The level of this auction is really high. 3-star client. The total amount of 3-star clients in the Black Dragon Mountain star field was simply pitiful. They were all huge figures. Luo Feng laughed and said, "The reason why I'm here is to ask, the 2 trillion universe dollars I handed to you 2 years ago. How is it going?" Talking about that, Luo Hua revealed an expression of glee and excitement, saying, "The 2 trillion universe dollars, even within the universe financial markets and many other investments, is considered large capital. There are many pros and cons to large capital. The good is that we can actually influence the markets to a certain degree. The bad is that it's not as mobile. Wanting to liquidate it may be hard sometimes. Last year during the exchanges, it peaked up to 50% more. However, during the bad times, we cut even. We've definitely accumulated large capital experience, perfecting our investment tactics. This year, the highest point peaked with profits at 3.6 trillion universe dollars. However, recently it hasn't been as good. We still have 3 trillion in capital. However, don't worry, we must be patient. Right now I'm just waiting for the market price to explode." Luo Hua laughed. Luo Feng nodded. "I need some money to use. How much can you take out? If you need money, then we have to liquidate. After all, my capital isn't in cash." Luo Hua emphasized, "However, to liquidate now, big brother, honestly, my plan is just about to finish over this half a year. Right now it's just about waiting for the price to explode and to earn a large sum. Selling off right now, it's simply not worth it. Big brother, if you are rushed, I can sell them all off in a day. However, selling off such a large sum will easily topple the prices. I estimate a return of 2.8 trillion would be considered not bad already." Luo Feng nodded. "No rush, this auction will continue for 10 days. If I don't have enough money, I'll contact you, okay? Luo Hua nodded. The largest gathering in the Ganwu universe country, the Ganwu auction. Luo Feng had already been anticipating the triennial event for a long time. Big brother, I'll be reachable at any time. If you need large amounts of money, immediately inform me. I will immediately sell off for cash, and if it's truly urgent, I've already talked to a friend, he can lend you some cash first, using my investment capital as settlement. Luo Hua said, Luo Feng. Beside him Shushin smiled, when you return, you must tell me all about the auction. I too have an interest in this Ganwu universe's greatest gathering. Luo Feng nodded, bidding farewell to his family and immediately leaving 9-Star Bay. Waving down a flying horse and riding it to the transmission belt, transmission. Luo Feng stood within the transmission spot. In his hand was the invite to the Ganwu auction. Luo Feng immediately vanished from the Black Dragon Mountain Island and was sent to the Ganwu continent, into a floating city above. The invite shot out several beams of light, causing the floating city's defenses to automatically open a pathway, and allowed Luo Feng through. This was a continent that was incomparably elegant amongst the clouds. The city was exquisite and beautiful, the flowers and plants were scattered and easily seen all over, and the most eye-catching and enormous construct of the entire floating city was the auction hall. Once every 3 years, the Ganwu auction would always be held here at the auction hall. Sir, how do you do? Welcome to this year's Ganwu auction, this is your seat number. Miss, how do you do? Welcome to this year's Ganwu auction, this is your seat number. People were all dressed in luxurious or ancient clothing, some with snake bodies while others were as tall as 7 to 8 meters. The number of people here to attend the auction was simply massive. There were already 2 long lines formed at the entrance of the auction hall. So many 3-star clients. Luo Feng too was in line. In front of him was a huge cold-looking man that seemed like a raging fire, and behind him was a 1-meter-tall gloomy and cold dwarf. However, he emitted a natural aura of strength, causing Luo Feng to feel the pressure. 3-star client, most of them are sector lords. Very few are big businessmen, or youths with large backgrounds. Barbata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind, most of them are sector lords. Luo Feng gazed around. These 2 long lines awaiting to enter had at least a few thousand people. A few thousand sector lords, this auction, there's a total of 16 entrances. Hence, it isn't just here where people are queuing, there are 15 other lines formed around. Right now the number of sector lords queuing should be about 100,000. Barbata said, 100,000. Luo Feng gawked. 100,000 sector lords. That was madness, Puda. There were over 1.31 million in the previous auction. Do you think there will be more this time? The huge iron-faced man, that seemed like a raging ball of flames in front of Luo Feng, said softly, yeah, it'll definitely exceed this time. It's been said that this year there is a quota for entering the primal universe, and this quota is a sector lord quota. The highest level allowed is for sector lords to enter. Many undying have come here wanting to buy this quota. And because of this, many sector lords have come here. In front of that iron-faced man, a man with a hoarse voice, dressed entirely in a robe, spoke. Luo Feng was stunned. 1.31 million. Primal universe. Standing in line, he naturally heard many of the discussions of the sector lords. The content of these discussions completely shocked Luo Feng. Because many of the topics they mentioned left Luo Feng completely bewildered. This time at the Starfield border, we had a total of 18 sector lords. Only 3 were lucky to return. The other 15, they may come out after a few tens of thousands years, a few million years, or they may never come out at all. Your Tuoda army has made a huge contribution in the battlefield outside the Starfield this time, congrats. Beside him, the sector lords recognized each other. discussing these sort of topics. Luo Feng was just simply blinking his eyes and stayed silent as he listened. This brother, which family or organization are you from? A team beside Luo Feng, one of them, a skinny single-eye man, smiled as he waved at Luo Feng. No family, no organization. Luo Feng replied frankly, oh. The single-eyed man nodded as he heard, not asking any more. Just from their auras, one could easily determine the power levels of people around. The surrounding large group of sector lords could easily see that Luo Feng was a much weaker little fellow amongst them. However, in this group, the weaker one was, the more others couldn't offend him. It was because a person with weaker power being able to become a 3-star client meant his background was usually extremely terrifying. Sir, how do you do? Welcome to this Ganwu auction, this is your seat number. Luo Feng received the ticket, looking at the black slip of paper. Half of it was translucent with a screen on it. On the screen displayed, KND 99286. It's really huge. Entering the auction, Luo Feng was half-dazed. The entire auction was akin to one of Earth's soccer fields. The surroundings were a blur with a large number of people. However, the number of seats in this auction hall was simply too many. There's a total of 3 million seats here. Every seat is 6 meters wide and 10 meters tall. Barbata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Luo Feng nodded. Every seat was 6 m wide and 10 m tall. Such a huge seating space, with a total of 3 million of them. With just a glance, it was impossible to see the end of the hall. It was as though a world was formed just from putting these countless seats together. The reason behind the huge construction of seats was to accommodate the large physically structured guests. KND 99286. Luo Feng found the engraved number on the seat and sat in it. 6 meter wide, even bigger than his bed. Countless seats. Discussion filled the entire hall, as though countless gods were in conversation. So many sector lords. Luo Feng held his breath. The Ganwu Universe country has a total of 13,000 star fields. Like the Black Dragon Mountain star field, there's close to 100 sector lords. Then the entire Ganwu Universe country, on estimate, has over 1 million sector lords. In truth, because of the teachings of many undyings, the Ganwu Universe's chances of having sector lords growing largely. There's a total of over 1 million sector lords in the entire Ganwu Universe country. Luo Feng felt his heartbeat race. Over 1 million sector lords. The Ganwu Universe country, just what you would expect from a universe country. At such a level, it was simply enormous. The Ganwu Empire is extraordinarily powerful. Even your teacher cannot compare to it. Undying beings can only lower their royal heads in front of the gigantic Ganwu Empire. After all, there are numerous fighters in Ganwu Empire. Of course, the Ganwu Empire wouldn't wantonly anger people like your teacher, who aren't tied to any organization, and are also extremely powerful. However, if they do actually start fighting, after paying a certain price, there will be no problem with eradicating people like your teacher. Sighed Barbata, there's nothing that can be done. That's the power of numbers. Luo Feng nodded. As he looked at the auction, the countless number of seats, and the countless number of sector lords, he understood what the power of numbers meant. 3 hours later, guests. A clear sound instantly spread around and echoed around the auction. Everyone in the vast auction quickly settled down and became quiet. Luo Feng looked towards the center of the auction. A bald old man with a black turtle shell on his back stood in the center of the auction. Above him was a 3D projection of this old man that was 1,000 meters tall. Everyone, welcome to this time's Ganwu auction. I hereby thank the fantastic support of the Virtual Universe Network Company, the Universe First Bank, the Universe Galaxy Bank, the Battleaxe Coliseum, the Universe Mercenary Alliance, and the Ganwu Empire. Smiled the old man. I'm sure many of you recognize me. You can all call me Old Batuor. Once again, Old Batuor will be your host for this marvelous banquet. In our last Ganwu auction, there were 1,316,038 participants. We just finished tallying up the number of participants in this time's auction. Does anyone know how many people there are? 1,823,959 people. 1.8 million, 500,000 more than the previous one. The entire auction suddenly went into a wave-like uproar. The lowest person here was a 3-star client. Within the densely packed seats, Luo Feng smacked his lips and sighed to himself. Within the Black Dragon Mountain starfield, my wealth can rank within the top 100. However, across the entire Ganwu Empire, after reaching a different position, the things you see also change. Before reaching the minimum qualification of a 3-star client, you don't even have the right to participate in this Ganwu auction. I'll cut the small talk. The time to officially begin this time's auction is soon. Same as always, we'll first have an auction as warm-up before we officially start. The turtle-shelled old man pointed to the side. Within an instant, a gigantic screen appeared. A beautiful, mesmerizing galaxy appeared. Galaxy after galaxy flashed past. Each of these galaxies had many life planets, and there were many powerful fighters within the life planets. This is the Tanna starfield. Out of the 13,000 starfields in our Ganwu Empire, it is one of smaller starfields. There are a total of 668 galaxies in the entire starfield. Before, it was the land of an undying being. However, this undying being is preparing to embark on a life and death adventure, so he wants to sell the entire starfield. So, the warm-up auction for our auction will be this starfield, Tanna starfield, yelled the turtle-shelled old man loudly. The auction went into an uproar. Luo Feng, who was sitting on a large chair, was also shocked. Tanna starfield. Auctioning off a starfield right off the bat. Keep in mind that a low-level civilization, like the Silver Blue Empire, only contains 8 galaxies. Even though this Tanna starfield is a smaller starfield, it still contains 600 galaxies. The warm-up item is a small starfield. Looks like many valuable, expensive items will appear in this time's auction. I heard that the most valuable item is a spot to head over to the primal universe. This time's auction is definitely one of the best auctions within the past 10,000 years. A few voices of discussion carried over from the large seats beside Luo Feng. The Ganwu auction was once every 3 years. However, each auction was a bit different. Every 1,000 or 10,000 years, an auction with higher level treasures would appear. Usually, you could tell the level of the auction from how many participants there are. The Tanna starfield, as long as you don't establish your own empire within the starfield, you can enjoy the protection from the Ganwu Empire. A starfield like this can definitely become the foundation of a family that will go on for thousands of billions of years. It can become a place to nurture warriors and raise slaves. There are only so many starfields within the Ganwu Empire, and fewer of them are appearing in auctions. Now, everybody cast your bids. Starting price: 300 mixed element units, 400 mixed element units. The price immediately soared. This scene confused Luo Feng in the distance. Barbata, the price of a galaxy is around 10,000 universe dollars. This starfield contains a total of 668 galaxies, so technically 200 or 300 mixed element units should be enough. Luo Feng, you're talking about a single galaxy, and this is an entire starfield. This is a completely different case. If galaxies are spread out, they can easily be picked on by surrounding organizations, which will thereby inhibit their development. And an entire starfield is united, said Barbata. Every galaxy within a starfield supports each other, so it will be hard for surrounding organizations to pressure them, so a single starfield is worth a lot, said Barbata. Luo Feng held his black card as he looked towards the large screen in the center. The numbers on the screen constantly refreshed: 400 mixed element units, 420 mixed element units, 460 mixed element units. Within the blink of an eye, the price changed to 860 mixed element units. 861, 868, 876. The rate of increase slowed down. 1,000 mixed element units. 1,000 mixed element units. The number that suddenly appeared caused the entire auction to go silent and nobody bid again. 1,000 mixed element units. Counting down 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Congratulations, customer ID KBR38293. You have just become the owner of the Tanner Starfield. The turtle-shelled old man's voice was extremely bright. There isn't much time left until the auction officially begins. 58, 57, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. His voice rumbled like a deity. The center of the auction became extremely bright. Light shone on the faces of the powerful fighters in their seats. This time's auction officially begins. For our first batch of goods, our customers can see the first 1,000 items being auctioned off on their auction cards. Please make the necessary preparations if you wish to purchase something, yelled the turtle-shelled old man. Now, for our first item, 92 metallic lifeforms of the Bonar clan. Metallic Bonar clan lifeforms can merge with spaceships and grant them self-regenerating and self-upgrading abilities. Metallic Bonar clan lifeforms. A total of 92. The starting bid is $200 billion US dollars. The 92 highest bids will receive these metallic Bonar clan lifeforms, yelled the turtle-shelled old man. Within moments, many started to cast their bids. Luo Feng sat on his throne within the crowd and lowered his head to look at the black card in his hand. 92 items right off the bat, quite fast. This metallic life form can actually merge with spaceships, and as this life form increases in strength, the spaceship will also continue to upgrade. Interesting. Luo Feng watched the continuously increasing bids, shook his head, and stopped bidding. Auction item after auction item was being auctioned off like flowing water. The lowest final bid was a few dozen billion US dollars. Normally, the final bids were around a few $100 billion US dollars. After all, the initial items of the auction all fell under this price range. 1,000 mixed element units. Probably only 4-star clients could offer such a price. The lank fruit is the best item to raise monsters and plants. Even if you are heavily injured, consuming the lank fruit can heal you. Using 100 lank fruits as a single unit, there are 39 units of lank fruits. Each unit has a starting bid of $100 billion US dollars. Once again, the bids began. An average galaxy, with a few dozen thousand planets, was priced around 100 billion to a trillion US dollars. Luo Feng purchased the next unit. This lank fruit is very beneficial to the cloud contact vine, and so Luo Feng finally spent 180 billion and 181 billion US dollars to purchase 2 units of lank fruits, an automaton race battle uniform. It perfectly protects your entire body. The most outer layer of the automaton race battle uniform set naturally forms an energy shield, and the source of energy for that shield comes from the energy crystals in the interior of the battle uniform set. This automaton battle uniform set is a D8 grade battle uniform set. Even if a little star traveler kiddo puts it on, even a domain lord level 5 or 6 stage fighter wouldn't be able to break it open. Even their spiritual force won't be able to penetrate it. There is only one automaton race battle uniform set. This is definitely something you would want to buy for your favorite disciple or your grandson. With it, they will be much safer. Starting bid of 1 mixed element unit, yelled the turtle-shelled old man. This item shocked Luo Feng. The wearer doesn't need any sort of his own power to block an attack. This automaton race battle uniform set. Luo Feng has never heard of it. However, it'll be useless if a sector lord wears this thingy. Damn, the price is soaring. Luo Feng looked at the result, which caused his jaw to drop. 9.8 mixed element units. This is the final price, nearing 10 mixed element units. An item purely for gifting your favorite disciple or grandson actually neared the price of all the treasures Luo Feng obtained in the world within a world. Luo Feng, it's rare to encounter an automaton race battle uniform set with such a high defensive capabilities. Don't mention AD8 Grade 1, you probably haven't even seen AC Grade 1. This kind of thing is purely a luxury good. The person who purchased this battle uniform set is probably an undying being, said Barbata. Item after item passed. All sorts of items caused one to get dizzy. Any of those items would cause domain lords to go crazy. However, in the most important ceremony of the Ganwu Empire, there were around 1 million sector lords and even a few undying beings who wouldn't go soft on their bidding. 3 batches of items, a total of 3,000 items, was swiftly sold. Now comes the 4th batch of items. Everyone can see the next 1,000 items on their auction cards. If you see something you want to purchase, please make the necessary preparations. The turtle-shelled old man remained smiling as he spoke. The auction suddenly became silent. A countless number of powerful fighters on their thrones watched their cards to see the next 1,000 items to be auctioned off. Nanshan armament. The Nanshan armament. It's one of the 9 great weapons for the controller-type spirit readers, the Nanshan armament. Luo Feng, this is the most suitable spiritual weapon for you. You must buy this Nanshan armament. Right after Luo Feng finished looking, Barbata's energetic yelling rang in his mind. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.